Hey guys, Dan here with the Masked Singer guesses for the week. Thank you for joining me. We are down to 4 in Group A. Next week we're going to learn all about Group B and be introduced to 6 brand new characters on the Masked Singer. But for this week, we have the 4 remaining in Group A that by the end of the episode was cut down to 3. And they were the Turtle, Miss Monster, the Kangaroo, and the White Tiger. So we will go in order here. We had special guest Leah Remini for the show this week, who I love, by the way. She's so good. Her guesses weren't all that great, but, you know, I like her. So we started with, who was first this week? The Turtle, I think, was first, right? And so this week on the clue packages, they were giving us notes from somebody that the person knows in some way, friends and family kind of thing. So for the Turtle, we had his favorite teacher in school. So we had some interesting things. There was kind of like a butterfly motif I noticed on the back wall. Seoul, Korea, and a little airplane on a map was one of the clues. So probably not somebody that is actually from Korea, but somebody that maybe performed there a lot. And then on the blackboard, there was a letter A, and it was like a U, but it was like a horseshoe type of U. So I'm not exactly sure if that's like a Greek letter, so maybe a fraternity boy, I don't know. And then they all gave Valentines after their performance to one of the people on the panel and told them like how they sort of know them. And so Turtle said he spent a morning with Nicole Scherzinger. So, you know, that could be obviously anything, but it told me what some of you guys have been saying as well when I guessed Joey McIntyre the first week, that think younger. We don't think he sounds quite as old as Joey McIntyre. Not that Joey Mac is that old, but I mean he's in his at least 40s now. So, okay, Pussycat Dolls were big in like the early to mid 2000s. So maybe this is somebody that's a contemporary of that. And the song, before I go to the guess, was Shawn Mendes, There's Nothing Holding Me Back. And so here's my guess, and this is actually based on something that one of you have said in the comments on one of my other videos, and that's Jesse McCartney. I wasn't really sure what I thought about that at first, but the clues really are adding up here. First of all, I love your comments, by the way. Please keep making comments. Tell me about my guesses, what have you. So there was a surfboard in the first package. The second package, there was stuff about, well, I don't know. No, it was the second episode. He said he was most likely to hunt for booty, which I thought immediately. I was like, the panel was like, oh, they're talking about butts. I knew immediately they're talking about something with pirates booty. Something with pirates. And so Jesse McCartney was in this movie with pirates, and he played a surfer, I think, in a different movie, or maybe it was the same movie or whatever, so that would add up the surfboard. So, I don't know. Nicole had an interesting guess, I think it was Nicole, with Hunter Hayes, just sort of tonally. I don't know how the clues add up with Hunter Hayes, but Jesse McCartney, with the clues and with the whole waking up with Nicole thing, makes sense. Maybe they were on a talk show together. You know, Jesse McCartney was big at pretty much the exact same time the Pussycat Dolls were, so that makes sense. So, I am going to stick, well, I don't know if it's not my original guess, obviously. My original was Joey McIntyre, but I'm going to go with Jesse McCartney, and that's really thanks to you guys. I'm not sure I would have come up with that one on my own. Next up to sing was Miss Monster. That was the reveal, so we'll get to her last. So after that was the Kangaroo. And we talked to the younger brother of the Kangaroo here. There was an airplane with the number 7 on it, like a model airplane. There was an angel, sort of made of, I don't know, some sort of cloth. And then the clue after the performance, the Valentine was to Leah Remini, and she said she's sat at the same table as Leah. Now, Leah did a year at least, maybe the first 2 years, on The Talk. So, I mean, that could literally be any guest that came to The Talk in that time span. So, I'm not exactly sure how that adds up to much. The song she sang was Diamonds by Rihanna. Now, I was thinking Tatiana Ali from a lot of the clues last week, and I believe it was Jason Biggs that made that sort of thought last week. But again, on the comments, Jordin Sparks was coming up, and so I did a little bit of research during the show. Tatiana Ali has no brothers; she has 2 sisters only, and Jordin Sparks does have a younger brother. I think all of the clues are adding up to Jordin Sparks. I still am not really hearing it in the vocals, but you know, some of these clues from the first week, she lost someone who held the family together. I'm a survivor, these kind of things. She apparently lost 4 people near and dear to her within a week back in 2018. It was her stepsister, her friend and the friend's husband, and a cousin. I'm not sure if any of those people necessarily held her family together, but that certainly adds up. And she would have won American Idol probably around the time that The Talk was on. Or when Leah Remini was on The Talk, I should say. Because she was only on, like I said, that first year or 2. She hasn't been on The Talk in a long time. But when the show started, she was one of the panelists. So if shared a table with Leah Remini, Jordin Sparks could have won American Idol around that same time. So that makes sense. So I think we'll go with that. That sounds good to me, Jordin Sparks. White Tiger sang We Will Rock You. This guy obviously can't sing. We have known that since week 1. He's more of a showman. It's more about his performance than it is about the singing. For him, we interviewed, I say we like I'm part of the goddamn show. But anyway, he interviewed the bartender, I guess I should say, a good friend of his. I'm not sure if he's actually a bartender, if that was just the motif of the package, but his good friend was playing a bartender in the package, and we saw quarters, we saw foam fingers, pats of butter, which Ken pointed out he thought it was Fabio for the I can't believe it's not butter thing. I'm not sure what the pats of butter indicate, except for, oh wait, the Pats, the New England Patriots that we've been saying this whole time. It's Ron Gronkowski from the New England Patriots. I don't know who this person is, but just looking at the different research about him, these clues seem to completely add up. Pats of butter, New England Pats, the Patriots. His Valentine was to Jenny, and he just basically said, I think your husband will really enjoy this or something. So he knows Donnie Wahlberg. Well, the whole Wahlberg clan is from New England, is from Massachusetts, from Boston. So, I mean, this to me is the biggest slam dunk of the season so far. From not even knowing much about this person, all of these clues are obvious. So I don't have much more to say about that. I think it's Ron Gronkowski for sure. Okay, now Miss Monster, she was the one who was revealed. She sang You Don't Own Me, and the clues were spewed out from her hairdresser. So, okay, somebody with big hair, famous hair. And it was like a clothesline kind of thing, and on the clothesline were pizza, white socks, and a teddy bear. So the Chicago Bears, Chicago White Sox, pizza, the Chicago deep dish. So that all made sense. And then she said something like, you can't hurry good hair, which I think, was they were leaning us towards, okay, maybe it's one of the Supremes, maybe it's Diana Ross, maybe it's Mary Wilson, but I think that was clearly a red herring. And then her Valentine was to Robin Thicke, and she said that she was with him in Sin City, which is Vegas. So he was thinking Gloria Gaynor because he met her backstage in Vegas one time. But like that's where all the iHeart radio shows are. So I mean that could be a lot of people. So the Valentine's clues weren't very helpful, except I guess maybe Ron Gronkowski, the Donnie Wahlberg thing, because they're both from Boston. But anyway, I was between two on this. Now, you guys on my comments were saying Tina Turner and Chaka Khan. Didn't hear Tina Turner at all. And at the beginning of the show, the four of them did a Kiss song together. And so I was trying to kind of pick out, okay, well, here's who people have guessed on my comments on the channel, and what I think they sound like. I mean, look, I would love to tell you that I have the whole Jesse McCartney discography or the Jordin Sparks discography. I know some of their songs, but they're not things I listen to on a normal basis. So I can't be sure of really either of those, but I guess the clues make enough sense. So I was between two for this, like I said. I was between who Jenny McCarthy said, which is Queen Latifah, and the reason I thought that was because maybe it's not somebody from Chicago, but maybe it's somebody that was in the movie Chicago, and Queen Latifah was in that and got a lot of accolades, some nominations. But also in the very first package, the first thing they showed was a bottle of, or a can or whatever of hairspray. And Queen Latifah was in the movie Hairspray as well. So I thought, okay, I'm not necessarily hearing Queen Latifah's voice, but I've been saying since the beginning on Miss Monster, it was somebody that had a big voice that was reeling it in so that they wouldn't be so easily identified like Patti LaBelle was last year. So I was still thinking, okay, maybe Queen Latifah, but I still wasn't really hearing it. And then I realized, you know what? Chaka Khan is from Chicago. Queen Latifah was just in Chicago. I mean, sometimes they make, smaller leaps than that, or bigger leaps, I guess. But the voice to me it wasn't Queen Latifah. And I have Queen Latifah's jazz album too, so I've heard her really, really sing, and it didn't sound like that either. So I just thought, you know what, I will go with Chaka Khan. I knew it wasn't Tina Turner. The voice just was not there for Tina Turner. And sure enough, it was Chaka Khan. So I had that correct after you guys sort of talked me into it. And then just looking at all the clues this week and hearing that voice, it didn't sound like Diana Ross at all. Didn't sound like Tina Turner at all. And again, I knew it was somebody that was kind of holding back. Still, Tina Turner holding back, you'd still be able to tell it was Tina. So it was indeed Chaka Khan. So I got one right so far out of three. I was so way off on Drew Carey and Lil Wayne. They weren't even in, at least if I had said, okay, I think it's Queen Latifah and it was Chaka Khan, I would have been 50-50. She would have been my second choice. Drew Carey was not even on my radar last week. So that's it. We'll keep it pretty short and sweet because next week we're going to have 6 new performers. So there's going to be a lot of ground to cover next week on The Masked Singer. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Last week I picked a dead woman. God bless Donna Summer. But I forgot she died 8 years ago. So I had originally picked her last week for Miss Monster. So obviously it wasn't her. So I was sort of on that Chaka Khan train. But then when they started doing the Chicago bit, I was like, man, they might be throwing us in the Queen Latifah direction. But I'm glad I kind of... Once Nicole was so short with Chaka Khan, I was like, all right, that makes the most sense, I think, of anything, voice-wise. So... but anyway, thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think of my other 3 guesses. And we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.